Well, today's goal is going to be getting the planter out, getting it calibrated, and we're going to get some seed in the ground. We've got winter wheat, some winter rye, and some winter barley. Today's September 21st, and we're going to get some seed in the ground. So this is a John Deere grain drill that I've added this cultiplanter to frame to. This frame has a set of coulter wheels on it, and I've adapted the frame to bolt on to the drill. She's rusty but trusty. I don't know what these little guys are. These are interesting. I don't know if birds are getting bugs out of the soil or what, but what a beautiful morning. It's been foggy lately, and as you can see, the sun's burning the fog off, but I'm on vacation the next week, so for the next 9 days we're going to be getting a bunch of work done here on the farm. The biggest things that we're going to be doing today is we're going to be getting some seed in the ground for our chicken feed that we're going to be harvesting next spring. Going to be milling our own grain for our chicken feed, trying to keep some costs down because they just keep going up and up. And I think we paid like 72 cents a pound for an organic feed last year, and we're going to be trying to reduce that cost quite a bit. Aside from getting seed in the ground, is we're going to get the chipper on the 2440, and we're going to get the four-wheel drive tractor all outfitted with the winch and the grapple, and we're going to go back and mill some lumber. So this lean-to here off the back of the barn, we're going to be removing, and we're going to be extending the barn back 40 feet, which this lean-to here is about 18 feet back, and the corner post for the fence right there is 41 feet off of the original barn. We're going to be pulling this lean-to off. I got to get trusses ordered. We're going to do 28-foot trusses, 8 foot on center. For now, we're going to add another 40 feet onto the back of the barn, so we got a lot of work to do this week. All right, so we're going to calibrate the drill for winter wheat. Half the drill is driven by this tire, half the drill is driven by the other tire. We're going to calibrate it. We will figure out how many rotations I need per the tire in order to calculate an acre of seed, and then we'll weigh it and figure out where we're at. And then on the front of the drill there's an adjustment for this that'll increase or decrease our seeding rate, and we'll get her dialed in. So if you've never seen one of these before, there's a gear set right here. Okay, so this gear set is attached to the tire, so when the drill head is up, these are disengaged, but I've got the engagement lever out, so it's engaged all the time right now. So when it drives forward, all the gear set spins. Once you start to move, that spur gear starts to meter seed out and drop it into the drop tube. So we have to figure out how much seed is metered out per wheel revolution at this setting. As we're going along, you can see right in here. Okay, now if I open up the metering lever, you can see how much of that spur gear is now going to be metering seed out. So I have to weigh how much we're metering out per every revolution and figure out how many revolutions it takes to plant an acre and figure out our weight from there. Okay, so we're going to measure the diameter of this tire, put a string on it, Right, so this ring is right there. Now, so they work. So we're 86 and a half. So we want to do 50 revolutions, catch the seed, weigh it, and go from there. Okay, so this is the third time we've done it here. 4.3 pounds. We're looking for 4.14 pounds. So we are just a little over, but I'm gonna go ahead and run with that. I'm gonna overseed a little bit, also because our pasture is not the best. So we're not fertilizing, we don't do any of that. So we're gonna overseed a little bit. It's not much, and go from there. So now we know this half of the drill is calibrated for winter wheat, so we're going to go ahead and leave it there and then plant, and then we'll come back and do the same for the rye and for the barley. So the awesome thing about not using any chemicals or anything, any pesticides, insecticides or anything like that, is that there are bugs all over out in the pasture. Even as dry as it is, there's bugs everywhere, grasshoppers and spiders and everything, right? So I'm getting ready to plant, and so I'm out there putting stakes in the ground, marking off, you know, third acre paddocks to where I can oh yeah, they're drinking the water right down. Marking off third acre paddocks for planting, because I'm gonna plant about a third acre of wheat, third acre of barley, and a third acre of rye. And so as I'm going along, right, there's those big, I don't know what kind of spiders they are. I call them like a field spider, garden spider. They're like, you know,
$50 size. They're black legs, black bodies with the yellow stripes on their bodies, on their abdomens. And I looked down, and right here on my shoulder is one about like that big. And I'm surprised my wife didn't hear me scream. I don't mind spiders if I come across them, but my goodness, for one, that thing was a magnum, and for two, I didn't know it was there till the last minute. But yeah, that thing was a magnum. So let's go out here and see if we can find one. Look at that. Put my finger next to her. She's big. I'm gonna kind of wrap up the series on the 2440 here. She's all put together and running, and I've done a little test chipping with it, and it's a beautiful day out. So I guess to get into it, if you guys watch the series of the repairs, you know, splitting the tractor, the mechanical failures that we found are going to be $5,750 with a $1,000 core charge, and then $4,750 when we got the core sent in and reimbursed that $1,000 core charge. So essentially what we did, and I'll go ahead and list this up here as I go, we deleted the hydraulic high-low planetary splitter for the tractor. That's the mechanical and the hydraulic portions of it. So in order to delete that, we had to replace the clutch housing of the tractor. That was a total cost of $500 with shipping. We had to replace the high-low unit with a clutch shaft, which was $480.46. Again, these prices are shipping included. The PTO shaft was $250 plus $28.24 for shipping, for $278.24 for that. We had a new transmission input gear, which was $111.54, shipping included, and we had a new bearing for that transmission input gear. That was $80.44. Now, my costs for the parts just to delete the high-low and convert it over to a standard 8-speed tractor was $1,450.68. Now, this is just for those parts. I'm not including gasket sets and clutch discs and all that I was going to have to go through and replace anyways. This is just the parts to delete the high-low unit. And then, so again, I would have had $4,750 in a rebuilt high-low unit with plus shipping, and we had $1,450.68 in the parts that I actually bought in order to convert it. So we saved $3,299.32. So as you can see, these are some maple logs. We've got quite a bunch of maple logs back here. These have been cut for, I'd say 2.5 months now. And they're end checking pretty good, but you can see the spalting on them, right? So that'll be really pretty when we get them opened up. All right, so we're back here at the mill. So I've already milled, I think I milled 2 logs, and I got 22, 23 2x6 and 2x8s out of it. I think my cut sheet's like 26 2x6 16 footers, and I need some 10-foot 6x6 posts, 10 of those, and I need some 2x8 14-foot pieces for my racking braces, and I believe I need 80 2x6 8-footers for the roof purlins. The way I'm building this one is We're gonna be doing trusses, 8 foot on center, and I'm gonna be using saddle hangers over the top plates of the trusses. That way we can run 2x6 8 foot purlins between the ridges of the trusses. Never done that before. I like the idea of it, so we're gonna try and do that. So we're gonna mill a bunch more lumber. Oil's good on the tractor. Oil's good on the sawmill. Fuel on. Choke half. She fires right up. Always has. His motors are bulletproof. Alright, so here's our stacks of lumber. So here's all our 16 footers on the bottom, and then there's some, those are our 6x6 posts, and then on top there's some more 2x material. That's all 2x. So this is all 2x6, this is all 6x6. There's some more 2x6 on top. This here is all 2x6 8 footers. This is everything. Hard to believe there's a 28 by 40 pole barn in there. So milling's wrapped up. Now we've got to clean up all the offcuts. So before anybody asks, there's a lot of live edge in this, which does not make for a very good piece of lumber. A lot of that stuff's going to be cut up for framing indoors and things like that. That's not structural, but the really good clean 2x6 material, the really good clean lumber that I've got, that's mixed in there with the not so good stuff. Okay, oh, that's my wagon. The really good clean stuff, like this here's real clean, this here's real clean, this is clean, you know. Again, I've got some bark in this one. That'll be stuff that'll be utilized for other things, but for the most part we got some pretty good clean lumber. Well, been a long couple days milling, but we got everything we needed milled. My dad stopped out today, and it's his first time really being around the mill with it running. He helped out. It's always awesome to have another set of hands. But we got the last of the 10 6x6s cut, and so we stacked all that, so we got everything done. So now, as you can see, I've got quite a mess of cutoffs that we're gonna, for the most part, everything's gonna get chipped up. So I've got the 2440 with the chipper on it. But yeah, so the 2440 is rocking and rolling. She's got the chipper on it. I went ahead and tightened the belts on the chipper, and then I also flipped the knives on it today. So I know the belts were starting to slip last time I used it. So we're gonna get this old girl put to work and do some chipping.
know about you, but that is that's a lot of fun. My goodness, I need to sort all this stuff out first. Obviously this stuff here is too wide to go in, and most of this stuff is only, you know, inch. Some stuff a little thicker, like your first cuts, your flattening cuts, right, on the mill. This stuff's too wide to go in the mill, or in the chipper, but so I need to sort some of it out. That way I can cut it up into firewood. But I'll tell you what, those fresh knife edges and tight belts on a 60 horsepower machine, driving a chipper that's rated at 8 inches at 50 horse, there wasn't much that was going to stop that old girl. That thing's awesome now. It's a big, there's a substantial difference between a 34 horsepower PTO machine and a 60 horsepower PTO machine. And yeah, that guy, yeah, I put a lot of work into it, but good to go. Anyways, now we got all four of the moves are up and about. So anyways, we've officially finished milling all the lumber that we need for the barn. I think we came out with somewhere around 80. So I needed 80 2x6 8-footers. I got 77, but then I think we cut like 20 extra 16-footers. So we've got plenty of 16s that we can then cut into 8s if we need them. We've got plenty of extra 16s. We got our 10 6x6 12-foot posts for the post of the pole barn. And I mean, at this point it's all stacked, and I've got the posts ratchet strapped together to keep them nice and tight while they dry a little bit. We're not really gonna try to get them to a certain dryness prior to building the barn. It's just a matter of when I get a chance to start on it. So we've got to lay everything out. First off, we got to tear down the lean-to off the back that's currently there, so we got to clean all that stuff up, tear that off, and then dig our post holes and put concrete. And then I think I'm going to do a bolted down bracket instead of a wet set bracket. Wet sets are nice. I make them here in the shop. The wet sets are nice, but they fight you when you're putting them in the actual concrete. So maybe that's because I'm utilizing like 4 pieces of rebar coming down, 4 number 3 pieces of rebar coming down 16 inches long. Maybe if I did like 1 piece of rebar that came down and then I bent it into a U shape and then went back up, it'd be like a U bracket that I would set in the concrete. Maybe that would be a little bit easier to handle, but we're not there yet. We've got some time. It's Thursday today, and I took vacation this week, so I got all the milling that I wanted to get done. So from here, it's pretty much, I've got vacation again next month in October, and that may be a good time to really hammer on the barn project. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to try the chipper out after we've got it running on the 2440 with some horsepower behind it, and also with the new sharp knives. So it will kill.